We go. All right, guys, this is David here, back with another episode of the Cerebral Palsy and Fitness podcast. And today I have Josh, the founder of Zearo. He has a YouTube channel called El Menu, and we're here to talk about food, fitness, and motivation. Welcome, Josh.
Hello. Thank you for having me, bro. How you been? How is everything?
Hey, man, everything's great. Just enjoying life. I really love mentoring kids, which I'm doing now. I'm a mentor,
Hmm.
and I love being able to have people like you on the show. That are motivating. That are captivating audiences with their unique talents. And
Hmm.
you have several from what I know, because fun fact, y'all, he and I knew each other from when we used to go to the gym. He used to be a trainer at a gym, and he and I met
Hmm.
each other there, and we've known each other for about 2-3 years.
Yeah, yeah, roughly about 2, 3 years, and it's been cool, man. Yeah, I met you at Planet Fitness, and I was
Yeah.
training over there, and you came, and you would always come consistently. You would always come with that attitude of I'm just gonna get in, do my thing, get out, and it's been cool, man. I know it's been 2 years since, but ever since I met you, I'm like I feel that hustle, I feel that drive in you, and to know that you're still doing it now and mentor now, I'm like, hey, man. There's strong people out in this world, and I'm grateful enough to be on this podcast and to be able to still have you as a friend and to see what the future holds, for us and everything.
Yeah, man, and I understand you've been in fitness for a few years. Have you trained anybody like high profile, or anybody like kind of close to it before?
High profile. I mean, my mother I've trained. That's pretty high profile.
Hey,
That's the lady.
hey,
That's the
parents are number
dog.
one, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Here's number one. But not really like high profile. Really, I train like friends. I train family members. Nothing really too crazy. I'm trying to think. No, I mean the highs for me gets to my family and to my friends. I haven't had no celebrities yet, but if they're willing to, hey, let me write a workout for them, they could always shoot me whatever text or message they want. But I try to keep it like that, friends and family, and then branch out to anybody else that is interested. But it's been like that ever since I started training. I believe 2018. Well, I got my license to train in 2018, and it's been friends and family like that ever since. But if
And
you know at least celebrities, let me know. I'll contact
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah, for sure, man. So where did you get the idea of Z Arrow? How did that start?
That was something I had like a vision connection with God. I was just kind of really into like creating something, and I seen a blank canvas shirt that I had, and I just kept looking at it, and I'm like, Nate, like something needs to go on that shirt. So I was just thinking one day, and then something popped in my head, the word Zearo. And I don't know what it means. There is no definition to it. To me, it's a feeling. So when I put it on the shirt and I kind of sketched some ideas, I found what I liked, and as far as the design, so I was able to put it on the shirt. And there was the back of the shirt where I was looking at too. When I was interested in what could go back there. So when I told you I had the feeling of the name Zearo, I wanted to actually try to like feel it. So I looked the braille portion of it, and I found the braille part, and I seen what it spelled out for like the word zero. And that captivated me. That made me feel some type of way, like a good type of way. And I put it on the shirt. So ever since then, and I had the idea, it's always been like a feeling for me of doing something that I love. The name doesn't mean anything, like I said, to no definition, but to me, it always resonated a feeling of like passion and a feeling of like love. So like I try to connect that with different things. Like you mentioned, I have El Menu. It's like my YouTube channel with cooking. I've always been into cooking. So like I would throw my shirts on for the Zero shirt. I made like a first set shirt for that. And I would cook, and I would find my passion a little bit more and more while I'm cooking, not just by wearing the shirt, but just by being around my family and friends. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Well, if I'm in the fitness realm, I got to be more in the cooking realm. So boom,
Right.
like I had a little connection with that. Then obviously training. I've been training for a little bit, so I know with the feeling of zero, to me, it's that passion, and I'm really passionate about training. So I've been still in that training realm, and it's been kind of tied into zero. So zero is kind of like it's a shirt, it's a brand, but it's kind of just been like a base. So it's like a connection to cooking, a connection to fitness, and a connection to fashion. I do like clothes, and I do like, mixing different things together. So with that, ultimately, I want to expand that into more clothing, into different things like that. But yeah, it's been something like a sign from God, I guess, where I'm supposed to create something with that. So I still have my shirts that I look at and I'm like, okay, well, there's more that needs to come from this. But to condense that whole answer into one, the whole Zearo was a concept from God, I guess. I'm very religious and I'm very spiritual. So I'm rolling with what I felt from the man above, and I'm going forward with it.
Awesome stuff, man. So where do you see yourself in about I'd say give or take 5 years from now with the Zearo and your cooking channel?
Bigger, a lot more consistent, and a lot more recipes and different designs, with the clothing. I want to be able to branch out and not just do shirts, but do other apparel as well. But to me, the big thing, honestly, is being consistent with everything. So going back to having a shirt, I want to be consistent to have that, and have different apparels for the shirt. Same with the different recipes for cooking, different workout schemes and training. Yeah, different training. I just had an idea because there's things that I want to do in the gym for training and outside as well. So to kind of branch out more and do things like that. And then, well, for the fashion sense, kind of tie everything together. Sometimes to me, like if I kind of look good, I'll feel good and I'll work out good and I'll cook good and I'll be able to hang out with my friends and families. And we all have, I don't know, just a good time because we're all doing what we're supposed to do, not think too much about it. So like going to the question of 5 years, to just be more comfortable in my skin, more comfortable in the kitchen and in the gym, and being able to have a good, comfortable balance with everything. Be more structured, I guess, as a human being is a good condensed answer.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's good to be structured. I mean, of course, everybody's different. Everybody. Some people are disorganized. Some people are organized. Like I'm one of those. I'm always doing something. Always leaving stuff everywhere.
Oh, no.
It's like my brain. I'm scrambled in all different directions.
You ever find yourself doing one thing and then all of a sudden you're like stuck doing something for another 20 minutes and
Oh
you think,
yeah.
wait a minute, I feel you. I had those moments all the time. But that's something I look to grow for and be more structured with. So it's a process. It's a process.
So I know a couple of years ago, you and I bumped into each other at Europa in Orlando. Is
Oh
Europa
yeah.
something you would like to kind of pursue as far as bringing the brand into that?
Yeah, in the future, of course, like having a booth and having a section and everything like that. I am interested. I do want to get myself physically in that shape, not just to be walking around or just to be here, but I like that whole feel of having everybody in the industry of fitness be there. So as I'm working on myself, I want to gain more weight, get more muscular, have the more apparel, and then rent out a booth there, in the future if God permits.
Yeah.
But I do like that rum and I do like getting all the free stuff. So I'll be making sure that if I do something like that, I'll have a whole bunch of cool free stuff to hand out. But Europa is definitely, yeah, it's definitely cool to me, and I definitely want to do that. So if God permits, I'm in.
And man, it's awesome to see somebody who's willing to put in the work and is practically, religiously really into it. It's in it for the family and it for helping people. That's the best way to do things is when you have when you're pure and you're doing things out of kindness and willing to help people, it'll go a
Hmm.
long way.
Yeah, it's a selfless bone in my body. I don't know what it is, but I always like to put people first, friends and family. So with the whole balance of where I see myself in 5 years is balancing me putting people first and switching it when it needs to put myself first. So whatever it is that I'm looking to do, it's putting myself first respectfully, and going to the gym whether or not I'm tired or not because of XYZ, cooking in the kitchen regardless of coming home late or whatever XYZ, that type of stuff.
So I was going to ask you. Oh, hold on, lost my train of thought for a little bit.
You're good. You're good.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to flip
So
that question to you. Okay,
oh
okay, okay.
sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years with everything
Well,
going on?
my main plan is hopefully doing uh the podcast and motivational speaking full time, because
Okay.
I've come to learn that education isn't just in the classroom. It's everywhere you go.
Hmm.
And I feel like you can expand your horizons more by meeting people, connecting people. And I learned that through doing these virtual appearances. Is you can meet so many different people. Uh, you can connect with so many different networks. You
Hmm.
know, like I said, I've interviewed countless individuals. Some some professional athletes, professional wrestlers, uh, bodybuilders that are in the industry that
See?
follow me,
Mhm.
that know me, and it's awesome. You know.
That's quite a resume, man. I mean, I'm happy for you. So 5 years doing all that. I hope everything turns out. And are you going to transition to doing more virtual stuff or like doing more public speaking? Do you have like a preference?
Honestly, I love doing the speaking in public in person because there's something different about it. You feel like you can feel that energy, that electricity that comes from the crowd, that
Hmm.
energizes you versus you're speaking, like you and I are speaking one on one on camera and it's not the same.
Yeah, I feel that. There is something about energy. When you used to train, there was something about having the people look at you and staring at you when you're training and you're instructing, and going through that process of towards the end of the class, or in your case, the presentation. That feeling of, all right, this is pretty cool. I was able to do this, and I want to do another one. So yeah, I know that rush feeling that you're talking about, and that's good to have a 5 year in that 5 years, because yeah, that's a lot of people you're going to be helping, and a lot of things that you're going to be doing that comes from that. Whether it's something that you notice somebody say that one of your presentations helped them with this. I feel like, I've had an instance where I'd said something in one of my training classes, and then 2 weeks later, somebody mentioned to me, like, I remember when you said to hold your breath in this scenario. And it could be the
Yeah.
same with you when you're doing your presentation. Somebody can come to you 2 weeks later telling you that, thank you for X, Y, and Z. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, like just recently, I did my was it in I think it was in January, February. I did a seminar for people with spina bifida. And the seminar was basically I had to do an entire fitness training session, a virtual training session, teaching them
Fitness.
different fitness techniques, what they can do while they're sitting, to gain strength, gain endurance, and gain flexibility. And that was pretty awesome. And then in October, I did a conference, and the
Mm-hmm.
topic I covered was adaptive fitness. So I got to talk about adaptive fitness techniques, how I do my workouts, how I adapt them, what
Mm-hmm.
I've learned, all my mistakes that I learned from training early on because I used to do
Mm-hmm.
very heavy weights, and I realized you do heavy weights and a lot of reps, you're going to get injured versus you lower the weight, you go more reps, you're still going to get
Mm-hmm.
the same result, except you're doing less weight and you're not getting hurt.
Yep. And do you warm up as well, or incorporate warming up into
Yeah,
that
I do.
100%? Okay, yeah. That's important as well. Everything you're saying with the more weights, but yeah, that's important with the warming up as well. But that's awesome, man. So do you like doing those classes, instructing fitness?
Oh
Like to
yeah.
those?
Oh yeah. Like one of my goals is hopefully down the line is to maybe go back to school and get my certification in personal fitness,
I
because
got you.
not very many guys out there with CP that have the knowledge that I do as far as training. Because I have people every time I do like an episode when it involves fitness, people reach out to
Mm-hmm.
me talking about can you give me tips or can you train me? I had somebody email me
Mm-hmm.
a few months ago. They wanted to pay me to train them.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, are you sure? Because I have, and they're like, yeah, and they had a disability as well, but they really wanted to get in shape. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll help you out. I'm willing to help you out. And but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'm not looking for the money. I
Want to do it for the help?
just want to help people out, for now,
Yeah.
because I'm not certified yet, because I don't want to be like, oh, I give you
Yeah.
this, and all of a sudden something goes wrong.
Yeah, that's a fine line. I mean, what I would help people without having a certification, I would say I would help. I'm not certified. So here's what I recommend that I do. So if you mentioned that they had a disability, you could be like, well, in some situations, I would do this. Maybe you could try that, and then go from there. It's like I don't want to say it's like a loophole, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like, but yeah, I mean that's awesome that you have people looking to have you help them with certain things, whether you're certified or not. It just shows the person you are, you know.
And I mean, like I said, I've been in the fitness for now almost 17 years,
Golly,
and
okay.
I've enjoyed it since I was like 13, 14.
Oh yeah, when did you start? Is that when you started working out? 13, 14?
Yep.
Okay.
Right
What did you start
after
off working out like back in the day? Like what would you start off doing 13, 14 years old?
I did a lot of weight training and Muay Thai and a little bit of boxing.
Okay. Muay Thai is when you had kicks and stuff, right?
When you had kicks, knees, you know.
Okay. I haven't tried any of that stuff, so that sounds cool to me. The most I've tried when it came to that was boxing back when I started training 15 years old, 16. A little bit of boxing and a little bit of calisthenics, like push-ups, sit-ups, and things like that. But it was one of those like, yeah, I read something saying at 14 like it could stunt your growth if you work out with weights and doing stuff like that. So I try to avoid that as much as I can in the beginning. I don't know if that was, I feel like it was a good idea just so I can get the balance of like working out, doing push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and things like that.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things that I did back in the day. And when I train now, like I'm looking into getting my certification because you mentioned you doing yours. And there's one called ACE. I don't know if you ever heard of ACE.
No, I've never heard of it.
ACE? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
it's
good
one of those
over.
big, it's a big certification. And I was kind of looking through their guidelines of how they do the course and stuff like that. And I was able to get like one of those sneak peeks of what it is. And they will talk about stuff to do before you actually start working out, where, say, for instance, you haven't been in the gym for 2 years and you want to start back up again. It'd be good to start doing body weight workouts before and then slowly transition into adding some weight and reps and, you know, changing up your scheme. So going back to like the whole 13 and 14 thing, I feel like it was a sign from, I don't want to just say the man above, but for a lot of people working out, starting off with calisthenics and weights, that you get your foundation young, early on, doing body weight workouts. So when you're transitioning to older or when you are getting older, adding weights, it becomes a little bit more like seamless. So you kind of have an idea of how to do a squat, how to do a push up, how to do those like basic fundamental movements. So I know it was a little rant that I just went on right now,
Oh, it's all
but
good, man.
that's one thing I think about from now at my age to back in 14, how I'm still able to have a connection when it comes to fitness, if that
Yeah,
makes
man.
sense.
Yeah, man. Like for me, the reason I kind of started working out so long ago is because I had gone to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I was living a semi-sedentary lifestyle. I wasn't really working out. I was always, kind of like in my video games, doing all that stuff. The
Mm-hmm.
only time I would work out was when I would do sports. Um, and my doctor had mentioned to me, if you don't start being more active and moving around, chances are you could end up back in the wheelchair. And because I used to be wheelchair bound until I was 8 years old. Um, then I kind of started getting into it. I didn't like it at first. I absolutely hated working out. Like I dreaded it. And then as soon as I kind of started seeing the results and how better I was feeling, then
Mm-hmm.
I kind of started getting into it. Um, then I went back to my doctor and at the time I wasn't wearing my braces, my leg braces. And then my
Mm-hmm.
doctor had said again, you got to start wearing your leg braces because by the age of 30, you probably won't be your knees will be shot. Your knees will be completely gone. And so I started following, doctor's advice, my mom's advice, because she was on to me about it. She's like, you gotta start changing you gotta start wearing your braces. I really don't want you to
Mm-hmm.
lose your ability to walk. So here I am, almost 31, still
Mm-hmm.
walking, still standing, still doing all that I do,
Amen. Amen.
because of God and my family and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. Sometimes you just gotta listen to the people that
Mm-hmm.
support you the most.
Your support system, it sounds like. It's good that it sounds like you have a good support system. Do you have like a mentor? Or do you have anybody that you could go to or a source you can go to where you need that like mentorship or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I have well, my current boss, he used to work with my mom for years, and so we knew each other. And when I started with the city of Orlando, which is where I work at, I worked my way up, and eventually now he's my boss, and we've been good
Mm-hmm.
friends for years because he knew my mom. So I look up to him for for certain things, you know.
I got you. That's nice to have. I have one of those mentors, but it's on YouTube. I don't know if you know Athlete X,
Who?
but this guy Athlete X, Jeff Cavalier. Well, that's his YouTube channel, Athlete X, but his name's Jeff
Okay.
Cavalier.
Okay.
He's swole, man. He's a older gentleman, but he's a trainer. I forget his specifics, but he's like a guru when it comes to anything that has to do with working out. And I'm sure some of your listeners know who he is. But I go to him basically like if I'm ever looking to have anything new or fresh, he's got different schemes and workouts. And I don't know. My mentors are more like digital when it comes to like that type of stuff. Um, but yeah, that's one guy. I don't know if you never heard of him or have you ever heard of him before?
No, this is my first time I heard of him, so I got to check him out.
Okay, yeah, maybe he's good to have in a set list when it comes to working out. He's what you call it. He's seasoned. He knows. He's one of those guru types. But
Awesome,
to
man.
me, it's been awesome to have that like YouTube and sources to help me working out. Even when it comes to like switching up my fitness, there's other YouTubers as well and other things sources online. Um, and yeah, I don't know what it is. I have like people that I can go to like in real life, obviously, if I need any help. But for some reason, having the YouTube and having that, whether I'm by myself in the gym or where, like if I don't want to bother anybody, it's good that I could go to YouTube and go from there and get my sources, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's good now that people say that to kind of veer off topic here. People say that the internet is a bad thing, but honestly, um, it can vary. It's a bit of both, you know.
Yeah,
It depends on what you use it for.
exactly. I feel like there's good sources and there's bad sources. It all depends on where you're looking. To me, if uh, not in a saying it in a bad way or nothing, but like if you're looking at someone that's not really, they're not really doing what it is they're doing right as far as workouts and things like that, as opposed to like a seasoned veteran, you could tell what sources you should be looking for and what you shouldn't be. You know how they say everything and not everything on the internet is true. There's some things you'll run into where you'll know definitively that's not true.
Yeah, like I don't know if you've heard about Aaron Singerman, and that was so unfortunate.
Mhm.
How apparently he had got caught in a scandal where his supplements were, I guess, being sold in the black market. And it had a bunch of like stuff laced in it and stuff. I mean, they were accusing him of things like that, and he eventually the past got caught up to him,
Okay.
and now he's the owner and founder of Redcon,
Okay.
and
I've
eventually
never
the
heard.
yeah, eventually they created Total War.
Okay. Is that
And
like a supplement package or
it's
something
a
like that?
it's a pre workout,
Hmm.
and eventually the past caught up to him, and it's funny because some people were slandering him, and he seemed very forgiving because he has a wonderful family, his wife, and people make mistakes when they're young,
Yeah.
and he's learning, he's learning, and hopefully he'll come back stronger from this experience, and
Yeah. I don't know
and
the gentleman in that situation, but that's
yeah,
never,
I don't know him either, but I read about it and I was in shock. Like someone who seems so genuine, and he seems like he cares about others. It's just sometimes when it comes to past
hmm
experiences, um, the best thing we could do is for ask for forgiveness,
yeah. And
and
move on
move
if you
on,
can.
and if you still have that strong familial support system and friends around you, it helps a
Hmm.
lot.
Hmm. Yeah, there's days, I don't know if you ever experienced days where you don't want to go to the gym or like go and do something where you know you should be doing, and you have somebody that tells you, "Hey, David, come on, you got a podcast waiting for you. We gotta, that they give you that pep. Is it pep star? Yeah, that give you that pep, and give you that energy. I have that with my friends that I work out with. There's days I don't want to work out, but thankfully I am. What they fly do, and we, like I said, bounce back. Some days I don't want to, some days they don't want to, but we kind of bounce it off each other. I was
Right,
gonna ask
right.
you, do you take like any supplements or vitamins or anything like that?
Just vitamin C, my man. I haven't taken a pre-workout, and actually, no, I drink Zoa,
Zoa, what's Zoa?
the Rocks energy drink. It came out with natural
Oh,
caffeine free. I found it at Walmart and I tried it out. It's really good.
yeah. Is it like one of those Bang energy drinks or like the C4s?
Yeah, it's like that, except it's a lot less like a lot less.
Heavy?
I would say you're a lot less wired versus because when I take C4, I can
Mm-hmm.
feel it. Versus when
Mm-hmm.
I drink Zoa, I don't really like feel it as
You don't feel it?
you don't feel it, but you feel the energy, but you don't feel like the after effects, or you feel like itchy and like
Mm-hmm. You don't feel like
flush.
you're gonna get like a nosebleed or anything like that when you're working out?
No.
Okay. I've never drank it, but I've heard about it. And the most I would drink, have you had a Celsius before?
Yeah, they're good too. I love them.
Yep. I do as well. When I used to work at Planet Fitness, we would always get the shipments of Celsiuses.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. That's right. I used to have some.
hmm oh yeah. Yeah, I remember in the gym. But yeah, that's probably as much as I take as far as pre-workout. You take like creatine or anything like that?
No, I go all natural, get my meat and stuff,
Mhm.
do it that way.
I got you. So transition into food. You said you eat meats and stuff like that. Do you have any like go-to meals that you eat before or after your workout?
I actually, before, I used to have like chicken breasts and some broccoli and vegetables. But recently I've dabbed into fasting. So
Oh, okay.
what I do is I keep a set schedule. So usually, except for weekends, but usually
Mhm,
during the week, I like, say for example, I have my last meal like 8 p.m. the night before.
mhm,
I fast for about 10 hours, but I drink a lot of water the night before, and I fast for
mhm,
about 10 hours, get up in the morning, do what I have to do, uh,
mhm.
rehydrate, go work out, and then I'll start eating around 10:30, 11, and then
Wow. Okay.
I portion my meals. So what I do is I make a bowl
Mhm.
with what I'm gonna eat for the day, and
Okay.
that's all I eat. No snacking, but just water. Because
Mhm.
I used to be a constant snacker, like all the time, snacking through the
Just
day. Because
munching away.
I would get hungry, I would get tired. You tend to grab the first energy drink or the first candy bar or something, and or like when you're eating salt, you crave more. It's like with pre-workouts. Like I cut down on the energy drinks
Mhm.
because when I used to have them, it made you the sugar, and whatever, it made you crave more. And so I used to, so I was like, that's not good for you. So I've been able to kind of curb it.
Okay.
So whenever I have the urge, then I'll just, I'll have more water or I'll just save it for another day. And it's helped
Mhm.
out a lot.
Amen. Yeah. Have you been doing that often, like the intermediate fasting? Have you been doing it for a long period of time, or you just started this recently?
I just started it like 3 months ago and I'm already seeing like results physically. Like
Okay.
it's like changes go by quick as soon as you
Yeah.
start it. And I drink a lot of herbal tea, like ginger
Herbal tea.
tea, lemon,
Okay. I
chamomile.
haven't tried any of that. I tried lemon with water. Have you had that?
Yeah.
I'm sure yes that. But I drink a lot of water with lemon. And I was trying to think there was this tea that I tried the other day that had like matcha powder in it. And it was real good, something for your heart and stuff like that. But what was I? Oh, have you dabbled with smoothies or anything like that? Or do
Oh
you
yeah.
incorporate it in smoothies?
Oh yeah, all the time, man.
Okay. I have a question. What's your go-to smoothie? Say you had one smoothie to offer anybody that question you, I need to go to smoothie. What would be the first you'd recommend?
I definitely say something with banana and strawberries.
That's my favorite, bro. Banana and strawberries. I just bought a frozen pack at Walmart. Fun fact: they have a frozen pack that has strawberries and banana. No more
Yeah,
than
they
10.
do.
But sorry to interrupt. So it'll be strawberries and bananas.
Yep, and then I'll add maybe a scoop of natural peanut butter.
Hmm Have you ever heard of some butter?
No, I've
before?
never heard of sun butter.
Okay, well, the only reason why I know about some butter is because I'm allergic to peanut butter. So some butter is basically like peanut butter, same type of like bowl container and texture as peanut butter, but it's sunflower seeds. So sometimes like you add your peanut butter, I would add the sun butter in my smoothie. Do you experience anything with like chia seeds or chia seeds and I think matcha seeds? I could be wrong, but have you heard of chia seeds or anything like that?
Yeah, I've heard of chia
Okay.
seeds.
I put some chia seeds in my smoothie sometimes too. And there's something called aki powder. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really good.
Oh, we should have a smoothie off, bro. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I
Uh,
put in my smoothie, we put in the same things.
right? Yeah, man.
But yeah, I go with the smoothie. I try to add all that type of stuff, and incorporate those like before I work out and after I work out, depending on what I'm in the mood for. But to me, like with this whole fitness thing, smoothies are like they're clutch, man. I can't say enough. I'm like a smoothie advocate. I don't know what it is, but the last 3 months or the last 2.5, 3 months, I've been making smoothies and incorporating that more into my meals. Because well, to me, I'm just like I think about smoothies as like a fast meal. So like if you're on to go in the morning, you could just pop a smoothie. Or in the afternoon, if you don't really want to eat anything heavy, you could just drink a smoothie. And same thing after your workout. Drink a smoothie if you don't want to eat anything too dense and too heavy. But yeah, that's what's up. That you like strawberries and bananas. I went a couple days ago and I bought frozen strawberries and bananas, and honey as well. I don't know if you add any honey to your
Oh
smoothie.
no, not no honey.
No honey? Maybe you should try honey, man. It's
Eh,
it's it's a good taste. It adds a good taste to it and a good texture. But yeah, smoothies are my thing, man. I can go on and on about smoothies, but I don't want to take up 30 minutes talking about smoothies.
yeah, right. Um, back to your channel and the food. I watched the video on you making salmon, and I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, this is some calming stuff. Like I felt relaxed because you weren't speaking, but I was
Mhm.
watching like the captions, and then you were just making the food, and I'm watching the food, and I'm like, dude, you can make anybody relax just by watching you make the food.
I'm glad you told me that. I didn't have like a real plan of how I wanted people to feel when they seen it, but to me, I just wanted to cook it and have not too much. In Spanish, we say revolú, so that's like a whole bunch of nonsense in it. But yeah, I made a mofongo um, with like a meat in it, and the whole mofongo thing. Like I was with my grandma one day, and she was cooking and stuff like that. And me and her like to watch a lot of YouTube videos together. So we ended up seeing something with mofongo, and I'm like, I could make mofongo. Like I could try. I have some of the like the stuff to make it. So as I was making it, something just told me to like record it and edit it and have it there in like a vault, I would call it. So I did that for that one, and I made something else. It was a salmon tomato sauce. I made a salmon tomato sauce. So as I was making that, I threw up that first video of the mofongo, and yeah, I kind of just want to like start making some meals, not randomly, but healthy and different cultures, different textures, and like I like it's I don't want to say it's edible. It's good. It doesn't taste bad. But you know, like when you start and you do a new meal, sometimes you'll like burn something or cook something a little bit too long. So I've experienced that a lot in this process of that. So like what I want for like the channel for like the recipes I make is to be as authentic. You said it was calming, so I'm like, thank goodness. And I want it to not just be calming but educational and just like natural. I don't want it to be forced or feel forced when people look at it because I don't know how many people make mofongo, but it's not the hardest thing. It's just a process. So if I'm able to show the process, maybe someone could be like, I have 30 minutes. I have some chicharron chips and I have some green plantains. You know what I mean? And start to think, let me make that as opposed to going to fast food, I don't know, McDonald's or whatever. And yeah, that's how I feel about it when it comes to like the cooking and like El Menu and that channel that I have. Just to inspire and motivate people to eat more what they cook and eat less of what is out there, like what you have to buy. And
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't mean that you can't go out every once in a while and get something to eat. But as a trainer, I just remember telling a lot of people when you work out, the food is like more than 70% of like what you have to focus on. Because you can have a great workout, but the minute you're not working out and you leave the gym, if you eat something bad, you're like reverting what you just did in the gym. So to be able to have like a smoothie there ready for you to get home, or like a mofongo that you made the night before that you could just throw in a little bit of sauce on top and maybe have a little bit of mild ketchup. Oh my goodness. That's the yeah, man.
Oh yeah,
It's the
man.
little stuff for me. It's the little stuff for me.
Yeah, man. Diet is extremely important. Like I don't really go out that often. I only go out maybe like once a month. I have
Oh, okay.
something. I
I
have
got
like I like my pizza Fridays. That's what I usually do.
you.
Like at the end of the
Mhm.
week after a long hard week and long hard workouts and fasting, I like to
To get a pizza in?
eat some good pizza.
What's your pizza choice when you go to choose a pizza?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I typically like Lazy Moon, but I don't mind Domino's, you know.
Okay. Lazy Moon, I've never had. Is Lazy Moon like mellow mushroom? Have you ever heard of
Dude,
mellow mushroom?
yeah, dude, you're missing out on Lazy Moon. It's amazing.
Yeah, where are they out of or based out of?
A colonial.
I don't think I've been. No, I don't think I've been there. I'll write it down so I can. I'll write it down so I can have a go to. But are there moon or I was gonna say are there moons good? Are their pizzas good as far as like? Because I'm a cheese guy. Do they have like good cheeses or a good
Yeah,
cheese pizza?
yeah, they got a good cheese pizza there.
Okay, I might have to try it. I tried the other place, Mellow Mushroom, and I had a cheese pizza. I don't know if you have them before, but they got a really good cheese pizza, and I've tried their chicken with barbecue sauce on it. Very
Oh
different,
man,
very different. It's good. It's good. It's a lot. It's a lot of barbecue sauce. So if you
could be
like barbecue
better.
sauce, yeah. But pizzas I like as well. I don't want to say I eat pizza once a week, but I eat pizza I would say maybe once every 2 weeks. And when I do eat pizza, it's either there or Hungry Howie's. Shout out to Hungry Howie's.
Hungry Howie's,
Yeah,
man.
pizza.
Yeah,
That's
man.
my but so that'd be like your cheat meal. Do you have a meal that you like it's your favorite recipe to cook or a favorite recipe to eat?
Oh, let's see. There's so many. So I like to grill some mahi mahi, and then I like to do uh rice and beans.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can, I'll add a little bit of adobo. I'm still trying to figure out a way where I can easily make sofrito, to
So
add to
free
it.
okay. Oof. Yeah, my grandma makes sofritos, so we're thankful enough that when we need a batch, we go to her. But Pinterest, I use Pinterest sometimes and Google, and to find like recipes to make sofrito. Yeah, they have it all over the internet. Like we were talking about, get it from a good source and not a bad source. But when I make my rices, I add sofrito in sometimes, and yeah, that's a cheat code for us,
Oh
Puerto
yeah,
Ricans. Anybody
yeah,
that
man.
uses that, any culture, yeah, sofrito is that thing. It's the cheat code for me.
Yep. That's how it is, man. You gotta. One thing about one thing about food is, um, it's not something you just eat, but something you learn to enjoy and
Mhm.
captivate yourself in. You
Yeah,
know.
to me, it's the process. Like when it comes to cooking, whether I'm cooking for the channel or just cooking for me, the process of like, say you got to make some rice and you put the oil and then you put the sofrito on top of the oil and you start to get the smell of the sofrito. Something about that just kind of like, I don't know, to me, I'll put my Puerto Rican music on and I'll just start, I kind of lose track of what's going on around me. And I'm like, all right, so boom, I just put sofrito. Now I got to go ahead and put some onions or some peppers or whatever in it. And then before I know it, I just finished my meal in 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, like I'm eating it and stuff like that. It's delicious. And then I start to think like, this is how my brain works, like ahead. So I make a lot that sitting and then I'll go ahead and portion whatever it is I can eat tomorrow. So now tomorrow I'm not worried about it. And then as okay, tomorrow I'm not worried about it. Then I have my smoothie that I'm either gonna make or that I already have made, or if I'm in the mood, I'll make a smoothie just to really do a 1-2 punch. And I have my Puerto Rican music in the background to celebrate, and I'll throw all that stuff in the refrigerator, and then I kind of move on to whatever's next, feeling wise, that I have to do. So I know it's like almost like a little ramble, but I tie all that in with whatever it is I'm trying to feel. I'm trying to feel as much good and passion as far as like the opposite. So I'll have me my cheese pizza on Fridays, and I'll cook me my meals Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and or Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'll work out Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's kind of like my personal like regimen. I like to cook on Mondays, and I like to have my food that I cook on Mondays for Tuesday. I'm in the gym Tuesday, so when I get home after, I already have my meal that I made for Monday. Um, and then on Wednesday, same thing. I'll cook whatever it is I'm gonna make that day, and then eat it whatever that day. And then on Thursday, after I get out of the gym, same thing. I have what I made on Wednesday, and then Friday could be pizza day. Friday could be anything day. But in my household, usually Fridays, we go to my grandma's house, so we eat nice home cooked Puerto Rican food, and then we'll have that for Friday. Saturday, we'll have still leftovers for Friday. But it's a blessing to be able to have like family and to be able to have like a structured, balanced schedule. It's not perfect, but to me, it's perfect for me. You know, everybody has different
Right.
jobs, different like times for their jobs. So like what I'm trying to say throughout all this is to find your balance and to find what works for you.
I like that piece of advice, find what works for you. It's it's
Yeah.
uh it's universal for everything.
Yeah, it's tough. And I always tell people like when I would train, like everybody works doing different things. So like if you work sitting down a lot, you might want to focus on things that help. Like they're not a lot of people don't know it if they don't have that mindset of like the trainer's mindset or like digging into fitness, but like your hamstrings, your knees, and your hips could be tight. So just being open enough to realize what it is that's like your weak parts of your body. Um, it's like a start to whatever it is you want to do. Because like I said, like the cooking is half of it, working out is half of it. But to have a balance of both, it's gotta like start with the individual, with yourself. Because
Right.
I don't know.
It all starts with you.
Yeah, exactly. I can't tell you, David, you got to do your podcast, bro. What's going on, man? I've been waiting for this, and that. You've got to be the one to, set everything up, get everything ready. I don't know the process, so you know a lot more than me. But it's how do I say this? It's on you to get the job done, but you're the person that's going to be able to do it the best that you can. Whether you need more
Right.
outside from family, from sources, more pizza on Fridays or Saturdays, anything. So it all depends. But like nobody's perfect in this life. But to me, like I said, if you're able to find more things that can help and impact your life in a good way, do more of that and less of what you feel is wasting your time or money. If you keep on eating out every single day, you know, I've ran into people that I would tell them, clients and stuff, you can't eat out 5 times a day, and
Your pocket's gonna suffer.
that too, man. Hey, you could have the best job in the world, but that credit card's gonna be that's gonna be ran, man. That's gonna be one of those like, hey, give it a
You're
break.
you're running it down the ground, man. Take it easy.
Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's life is different. So take whatever piece of advice you can and run with it.
Exactly, man. It's been a pleasure to have you on. And the fact that you have a great support system, and I feel like you are a grandma, and your grandma is probably your main motivation in doing what you do as far as like food and everything else. Because I've seen videos of you with her, and it's awesome, man.
I know. I did post some. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is, man. It's one of those. I like the old spirit. Like I like older people because they have a lot more stories and a lot more stuff to say. So when it comes to cooking, they're they're pretty much better than like any video you find on like the internet, because like they have these traditions and remedies from back in the day. So like, my grandma's the motivation for me, but I'm just trying to instill what she would want me to instill in others. And cooking is going to be one of those things, and fitness is going to be one of those things. Now it's my part to tie everything in.
To give back, right? That's what we get. That's what we're here on this earth to do. Is
Mhm.
we do good. We give back, and things come back to us. Good
Amen.
things come back to us.
And I seen a Denzel quote randomly as well, where he said, aspire to make a difference." I don't know the second part of the quote, but I know it said aspire to make a difference. So don't kind of like, to me, don't be like everybody else. Strive for something that's gonna make an impact. So that's one thing that it's always been in my mind. I don't know the specific quote, but aspire to make a difference. Just that little section of it, I never forgot about it. So like, if there's one thing that anybody could take from this, is just to aspire to make a difference, because the world is going to keep spinning. There's still going to be the same problems you
Exactly.
had today, tomorrow. But if starting with you can find some way to make a difference, whether it's a small or big, it doesn't matter. Uh, that that's that's how I feel in my heart. That's the word. That's the way the world should be. Um, It didn't sound sexy. It didn't sound flawless, but it's it's one of those things. You don't want to just be like everybody
Right.
else. That's what I want to say out of all this.
Hey man, well, I definitely appreciate you and your insight, uh what we talked about today. And I wanted to ask you, where can people find you to kind of learn more about you and about Zearo and everything you're, I guess, involved in?
Well, the socials like Instagram, in Mini We Trust is my personal account, and then in Zearo We Trust is my fitness account, and then for YouTube, El Menu, ELMENU is my YouTube. I've never plugged anything in before, so this is this is kind of funny, but that's pretty much it for now. I have those two socials, so of course I'm gonna look to grow them. But for the videos, for the smoothies, and for the recipes, you can go to those and see if you like it. See if you want to give the recipe a try. If not, thank you very much. I'm gonna do the best that I can in my little department. So
Hey man, and I'll definitely make sure to include those in the description of our episode. This episode, you can actually find it on Spotify, iTunes, um, any YouTube, any major podcasting outlet out there that you love to listen to my podcast. And Josh, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for being on.
thank you for having me on. It's been an honor. I've been really grateful. So I wish you many, many more podcasts, and I'm grateful to be a part of this one.
Definitely, and as I always tend to end it, um, if we can achieve our goals and our dreams, so can you.
Amen.
All right, guys, take care, and until next time.